Hey guys, it's Kip here from KDC Marketing, and in today's video, I want to talk about two foundational tools for any Wix Studio website. And the first one is in this layout tools, it's the repeater. So we have the repeater here, and then the other one is Wix CMS, the content management system. These two tools go together hand in hand to help you create a really good system on your Wix Studio website to better manage your content and create dynamic content. So I'm going to show you a few examples from real websites that are live right now that you can learn from and see how these two pieces together are foundational for creating good dynamic content. So the first is from this website, KDC Marketing. And if I pull up in my layers panel here, you'll see that I have a repeater. And inside of the repeater, I have a data set. So the repeater is connected to my project data set. And the reason for this is because the way that data set items work, or collection items work, is they are a collection of individual items. So let me show you the content here inside of my CMS collection. Hang on a second. Let me go to here and show you the content inside of my projects collection. So I have all of my items in here, and each one is its own specific item. So if I want to display this dynamically, then I need something that is going to be able to manage the load of only a few items. So in this case, I only have 6 items, all the way up to 100 items or 1,000 items, or however many items you can imagine. And the one tool in Wix Studio that does that better than anything else is the repeater, because the repeater is the same system. It's a element that is made up of individual items. So you can see here that I have items underneath my repeater. So it's similar in the way that it is set up, just like the CMS collection. The difference is if you use a repeater without the CMS, you're going in and adding the items manually. So you're going in and adding a new item, and you would be able to manage this up here and duplicate items, delete items, add items. And the whole idea of a repeater is it's going to repeat the same layout over and over and over again per item. But when you connect it to CMS, you can manage it dynamically. So in this case, on my homepage, I have 4 projects right here, and I am managing it with a filter. So I have a filter in my data set that's only letting me show my featured items. So if I go to my data set settings, I have a filter and it says featured is true. So that's what's managing the amount of items inside of my repeater. And if I open up my collection, we'll see that inside of my projects, I have 6 right now. 4 of those are featured. So I'm able to manage this information dynamically. Let me go down to this testimonials one. So the testimonials data set is 3 per load. So I have 3 items, then I have a load more button. But the concept is similar. I have my collections here inside of I have my items inside of my collection. And if I were to open this up to a table, you can see all these different items right there. And again, the repeater is managing that dynamically. And this time I'm not filtering them only a certain number on the homepage. What I'm doing is saying it's only going to load 3 of these at a time. And then if you were to push the load more button, more are going to load. And just to show you again here on the back end, you have the repeater right here for testimonials. And let me see if I can find it. So right here is my testimonial repeater, and then under my repeater, I have items. So you always seem to find these two things together whenever you are doing CMS. I have rarely ever found somebody who uses CMS who does not use a repeater in tandem with CMS. So those are 2 examples. Here's one with testimonials. Here's one with projects. Let me show you another example. Here's one with services. So if I go ahead and pull up in this section, I have a repeater here, and it's going to show me all my items. And again, these items are managed dynamically because they are connected. I have this repeater connected to a data set, my services data set. So if I pull up in my services data set in here, then I have all of the different services connected to this repeater, and I'm using a few fields, but that really is the foundation of Wix CMS. You want to use a repeater because then you can manage these things dynamically. You can add or remove and it's going to update automatically depending on how many items you are showing as visible or featured or are listed to show based on your filter settings. That's how you're able to control those kind of things. So let me just show you real quick what it would look like if I added a blank repeater here. If I add a blank repeater from my layout tools and I go like this, you can see by default I start off with 3 items, but I can manage the items from here in the design panel, or I can manage them here by clicking on the element and saying add item. Now I have 6 items. Maybe now I want to have 9 items. You can see now I have 9 items in here. Go back to my repeater, and sure enough, there's 9 items. So I'm just managing this manually, and I could go in and add elements, and then it's going to add across all the different items. So if I add an image to one, it's going to add across all of them. If I change the design of that image, it's going to change on all of those different items. So that's the real value of the repeater, is it's going to repeat the design over and over again, same design across every item. Now, if I connect this to a data set, it's going to automatically update to the amount of items that are in my data set. So I'm going to come here to my repeater and I'm going to connect this to a data set. I'm just going to say projects, and you're going to see that right away, because of the filter I have in place on this page and because of the number of items in the collection, it dropped to 4 items. If I were to change this data set to this, it's going to go up to 3 items because of the filtering that I have in place. If I had a collection with 100 items and no filters, it would go to 100 items. So as soon as you connect this to a data set, it's no longer managed here in the design panel. It's managed by the data set collection. But then you can pick and choose whichever one you want, but that's why repeaters and CMS go hand in hand, because it's the best way to display dynamic content really on any page, but on most pages and in most cases. So over here is where you find the repeaters. You just go into the add elements and layout tools. They have some different types of repeaters here that you can use. There are different setups. They also have some slideshow repeaters. These are more designed repeaters, and you could use these as well. But the basic idea is that the repeater is going to be the foundation for CMS. And then once you have your collections created in here and you want to manage your content dynamically, like these projects, for example, then you can use a repeater to get that done. And then, of course, there's the place where the outcome is headed, the place where you're taking them with your repeater. So let me just show you this one, for example. If you click into this project here, it's going to take you to a dynamic page where you have information about this client or this project. And then if I click here, this is another dynamic page that has a repeater again. So there are lots of ways you can use this, but you're always going to find those two together, CMS and repeaters. And if you can understand that and understand that that's the foundation of CMS, and if you understand how repeaters work in here, then you're going to be miles ahead when you go to create dynamic content, because you'll understand the foundation of how everything functions. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next video.